Listen, y'all, this cold has been trying to keep me down, but I am fighting back with everything that I've got, so we're just gonna try to keep it moving. I look completely sick and awful, so I figured I would spare you guys having to look at my face today and do a little draw with me for Summerween. So, if you don't know, Summerween comes from Gravity Falls, one of the best cartoons out there. I love Gravity Falls. I watch it every year during Halloween. It's so cute. I love the animation style. It's a little bit spooky, very funny. Just a great show to have kind of in the background while I'm working or just relaxing at home. But today I am actually illustrating from a new show that I watched recently that I hope everyone here has watched, and if you haven't watched it, I actually envy you because it is so freaking good. So I am doing a little fan art from Widow's Bay, a show on Apple TV. It's very, 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 very good. Seriously, if you have not watched it, please tune in. I would absolutely love to be watching it again for the first time. People say it's not scary at all, but it is a little bit scary. Like, there were a couple scenes where I pulled the blanket over my face. Now, I'm also not like I like suspenseful stuff. I'm not a huge horror watcher. I like scary movies, but I like more suspenseful stuff. I don't like jump scares and all that. And there are a couple of little kind of jump scare moments, but they're so short and they're really cut by the comedy. It is mostly funny and a little bit scary. But who I'm drawing today is one of the characters in the show, Sheriff Clemens. And over here we are always doing art that shows Black people, highlights Black people. So it's mostly white people in the show, but Sheriff Clemens is a Black man in this New England island that essentially is cursed. And I don't want to give away too many spoilers, but we're pretty much watching various characters on the island deal with weird occurrences, supernatural types of things. The mayor of the island is played by what's his name? Matthew Rhys. Very good actor, phenomenal actor. And he doesn't really believe that the island is cursed. And you'll kind of see how that unfolds and how he reacts to the realization that something else might actually be at play on this island. So anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me today. I will kind of start talking you through just my drawing process. I really don't like to record myself drawing. I spend a lot of time actually staring at the screen and not doing much of anything. Then I'll have kind of bursts where I draw. So you'll see in this video, I had to cut a bit of that out because it was an hour and a half long, and I'm like, nobody wants to see that. So I cut out some things. You'll also see some random cuts because I didn't realize you could see my face, and I was coughing and blowing my nose, and yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think I got rid of all of it, but if I didn't, I apologize ahead of time. So to the drawing, I did already start with my initial sketch where I just mapped out how I like everything to be and my drawing style. I like my line art to be pretty minimal, and so that's what you kind of see me doing here. I'm just going in and drawing out details. I like to illustrate things as much as I can as basic shapes. If something has a weird shape, I'll try to like kind of straighten out some of the lines, and not put too many curves. Although I used to, with faces, not really draw curves. Like all my portraits, I would do more like angular like chins and things like that, but now I have started rounding them out. But I do like to keep clothing a little bit more, I guess, geometric. And so now, after I finish my line art, I'm going in and adding where I want my shadows to be. Most of my portraits I do from the shoulders up. So this is kind of newer for me, drawing more of the body, since it's more from like the waist up. And because I just love that like the jacket had so many pockets and buttons, and the way that it fell on his body allowed me to kind of add some more cool shadowing to this piece. I typically use, I used technical pen for my line art, and for the shadowing I pretty much use technical pen for everything now, if I'm being honest. Every once in a while I'll want some texture, and I may use like one of the pencils to color in something, so that you can actually see like pencil strokes. But I do gravitate more toward the technical pen, and you'll see when I start, the fun part to me, filling in the color. I do like, flat colors. I just do like the fill in, or autofill. I forget what it's called on here, but color fill. Where you can just drag and drop your color to a specific area, and you'll see me do that in a little while. But back to the show. So I don't think I said his name, but the person that I'm drawing is Sheriff Clemens, and he is played by Kevin Carroll. And Sheriff Clemens is hilarious. He is just like, I don't want to be on this island. Like, I'm here to be the sheriff for a short time, not a long time. I don't know what y'all got going on, but I'm not interested in it. Very much like these people are crazy. He's not with it at all. And the scene that I'm drawing now, I think, is when he, if I remember correctly, kind of first comes to the realization that, like, no, this, like, I gotta get off this island. If you watch the show and see the scene, you'll know exactly why I say that. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. You can't see what else is in the scene, but he is witnessing a person do something absolutely insane. And so, yeah, watch the show. If you have watched the show, comment below if you know what's happening in this scene, but don't spoil it for the people that haven't. In the color fill that I was talking about, something interesting I saw recently on Threads was there was this person who said, she said something along the lines of, to all the digital artists out there, I'm sorry for like thinking how that like your work was easy. Basically that the computer does art for you. And I will say there are shortcuts in digital art, and there are different like softwares. Like what I'm using is called Procreate. I think I've said that before. It's very user friendly to me for as a traditional artist switching to digital art. There are shortcuts like the color fill that I'm doing right now, dragging and dropping the color. I don't have to color it in, but as you saw, like with all the line art, I had to go in and draw it myself, fill in all the details. Like there are certain things you can do. For instance, like I drew each eye individually. If he was forward facing and I wanted it symmetrical, there's like a symmetry feature you can use in Procreate where you draw one eye and then the other side will kind of pop up and you can see it being drawn like while you're drawing, so that you don't have to replicate things. You could also like draw one eye, then copy and paste it and like flip it, so that you don't have to like redraw things. I do use the copy and paste feature often. I like that you can resize things. There's all kinds of brushes and colors. There's obviously like an undo feature. You'll see me undoing things here. I do actually sometimes erase, even though there is an undo feature, because I just go back and see like little things that I want to clean up. So all that to say is that yes, there are shortcuts, but I have not seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, other digital artists, I have not seen any programs that really draw for people. Like, I can't think of the other one. It's like Paint Studio or something like that. But everybody that I see that uses that, like they're literally like painting like in the app. Like the same thing in Procreate. Like I would say my art is more simplistic because of my illustration style, but I've seen people do like realism within Procreate, paint, draw entire scenes, draw entire books, and so there are things that can help you out. But if you don't really know how to draw at all or know how to use the tool, then I think it would be very difficult to accomplish it. Like what I'm doing is me working in Procreate for 2 years consistently. I used it for like a few months when I first got my iPad. Well, I would say when I first got my old Apple Pencil that I was using, but it was tricky. Like I didn't understand the concept of layers and why I even needed layers. I used to draw on one layer. Now I still kind of keep it simple. Like I don't think for this drawing, I think I only did 3 layers because I did the line art, then I duplicated it, and I did color fill, and then I will add another layer later, and you'll see why I did that layer. So I think total, and then if I add text to something, especially if I'm doing like stickers or anything like that, that's another couple layers. But I never get into like the 20 layer issue that some people have. The bigger your canvas size is on Procreate, the less layers you have to draw on. So that can be limiting. So I actually think to an extent it's better to know how to draw on less layers, because if you did need to do like a big project, there's workarounds for it. But if you're able to keep it to just a few layers, then you're pretty much golden. And then one of the cheats is you could always like separate layers, and then once you realize like you're really done with one layer and you don't need to alter anything on that specific layer, you can merge layers together. That's one way to kind of deal with your issue. Here I'm drawing the eyebrows. I don't know why. I really like drawing eyebrows. And I feel like everybody's eyebrows that I draw, they're always snatched because I kind of draw it the same way. But I love a good brow and a good beard. It's kind of therapeutic, like drawing all these little hatch marks for the beard. Shadow here, adding more shadow. But yeah, I really enjoy drawing in Procreate. I like a lot of the shortcuts that are in here. One of the things that I love is like making new color palettes. For the most part, I use the same 2 color palettes, which you can probably tell if you look at a lot of my previous work. But for this piece, I actually made an entirely new color palette, because I think that the colors that I use are typically a little bit more bright, and I lean toward primary colors. And as you can see in the reference picture, pretty much all of the colors in this picture are like warm toned colors, like brown, hunter green, khaki. So that is definitely out of what my usual colors that I use. So that was cool to create a new color palette, and I think I will actually continue to use this palette a little bit more throughout the fall, because I really like it. I don't know what's wrong with me, y'all. The badge or emblem, I guess it's a badge, I don't know what it is, on his hat, I couldn't really make out what was in the picture. Like, I assume it's a cloud and like water and the island. So I just was drawing like random things instead of just like trying to look it up to see if I could find a better picture. I don't know why I didn't just go try to find a better reference image than this. I think I will say, when I was recording the video, I was kind of over it. I wasn't really feeling that great while I was drawing, so I don't think I felt like looking anything up. But I just winged it, and I mean, it zoomed in, but when you zoom out, it really doesn't matter as long as the colors kind of match what's there. But yeah, you'll see me. I keep like zooming in, trying to look at stuff. I'm like, girl, just pack it up. I started writing sheriff because I assumed it said sheriff, and then I was like, I actually don't know what it says. So now I'm just gonna scribble something. Oh my goodness. Then here you see me maybe experiencing brain fog and not realizing that I drew that one bottom button on a different layer, because I realized like later that I'd forgotten it, and I think I drew it on another layer on top of the color layer. So every time I go to color fill it, it keeps filling the whole thing gray, so I just colored it in. And once I colored it in and saw that I wasn't coloring over the line art, I was like, oh, that's another layer. That's why it's doing that. But yeah, you see it's coming together. For metallic things, I always do like gray and light gray, especially something so small. I'm not drawing it exactly how I see it. I'm just adding random highlights to it to kind of give that general effect. And it's so interesting how little things like that can translate into like something being shiny or metallic with just like a small highlight. That's one of the things I love about illustration, is that you're really like taking things that you see and simplifying them, but still kind of telling the same story or invoking like the same feeling from the picture, but just in a different way. And yeah, I know people don't always appreciate illustration the same way they do fine art, but I think it takes a lot of skill to take a very like realistic picture or a story, something you've imagined, what have you, and translate it into something simple. Because many artists, I think, probably like myself, deal with perfectionism, so you kind of have to like practice restraint in order to even be able to illustrate. Like if you do too much, then it starts leaning towards more realistic work, and then it may not end up looking quite the way you want it to look. Okay, so here is actually my third layer. I saw somebody do this on Instagram, so I always would normally do this anyway, but they showed me a different way to do it. So for shadows, I used to just draw over it, like draw a new layer totally in black, like draw over the picture, and then lower the opacity and change it to like color burn or overlay. But this time I lowered the opacity and I changed it to overlay before I started drawing, so I could see it like as I was drawing it rather than guessing. And I forgot the guy's name, but shout out to you for the suggestion, because I will be doing this from now on. You are witnessing in real time the indecisiveness of an artist. I knew I wanted more shadows, but I couldn't decide exactly how I wanted them placed, and it was because I liked my original shadowing so much. Like, that's that kind of restraint I'm talking about, where he has way more shadow cast on his face overall in the picture, but my illustration doesn't necessarily have to look like that. With more time, I'm sure I could add some more, which I actually did in the very final version of this picture that I've included at the end. But yeah, sometimes you just you just don't know. You're just practicing and seeing what sticks. But we're now pretty much to the end. I am going to work on making sure my iPad stays within frame on the next video. But I thank you all so much if you're still watching, for sticking around until the end, and I really hope you enjoy the video.